Greetings, welcome, and thank you for clicking. I'm Christian of Standing Stones Healing Company, encouraging your journey with Reiki, card reading, and coaching for life's changes, challenges, and transitions. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Ask the Stones, offering spiritual guidance and encouragement for life's challenging questions. Greetings, welcome, and thank you for joining me for this episode of Ask the Stones. As always, it is such an honor to have you join. This episode's question comes from Samantha. I'm going through so much at the moment. My childhood was not good. I was abused and neglected, but I pushed all of the pain away. Something happened to make me see I had been running away from the pain my whole life. My boyfriend wanted to go away on a trip with the boys, and I got angry, yelling and screaming. I felt abandoned, and we were both scared by my yelling. Could this be because of my childhood? I have so much healing to do and don't know where to start. Oh, Samantha, thank you so much for this question. And Samantha, I really want to send to you a big hug right now through time and space. And I want to send a big energetic hug to you and your challenge. I also want to say that I am sorry for this challenge, for the abuse that you experienced as a child, and for the challenges that it has brought you and continues to bring you. And so, Samantha, my heart does go out to you and your challenge. So, Samantha, as far as your question of could your reaction be because of your childhood trauma? Yes, it indeed could. It absolutely could have to do with that. You know, those feelings of neglect and abandonment that absolutely can manifest years later in unexpected ways. And so, Samantha, yes. Now, is it definitively the reason? I don't know that. But yes, in answer to your question, it sure could be. You know, Samantha, healing is very much a journey. And you're wondering where to start that journey. How do you begin? You have so much healing to do, and you don't know where to begin. It can seem, I think, at times very overwhelming to us when we realize that we have healing to do, and we just have no idea where to start with it. How to even get into it. It's almost like just this big web that has us ensnared in a sense, Samantha. We're caught in the web. And we just aren't sure how to untangle ourselves from it. You know, we pull on one strand and find that it is attached to another strand. One thread is attached to another thread. And we look at this web and it just seems so overwhelming. And how are we ever going to be able to get out of it? So yes, I can understand if you feel overwhelmed by where to start with this healing. But Samantha, I want to encourage you that the truth is that you have already begun. By acknowledging that you have healing to do, you have indeed started the healing process. And so, Samantha, as you wonder where to begin, you have already begun. As you wonder where to start with your healing, you are already on the healing path. Because we first have to recognize and realize that we have healing to do in order to really take steps on that journey with intention. And so, Samantha, well done, because you have already started on that journey. Just by asking, gosh, could my reaction have to do with my childhood? And just by acknowledging the challenges of your childhood, the pain that you endured, that is a major step in the healing process. And as well as Samantha recognizing that it is something that you had been pushing away and not wanting to deal with. And so well done to you. You know, Samantha, I like to think of challenges like this, traumas, and things that we need to heal over, like a car. You know, when you have a car and you start to hear noises coming from underneath the hood. And for those of you who don't have a car, you can really think of anything that might break down and that is kind of important in your experience and that you really don't want to have breakdown. So I like to use the metaphor of the car for this, Samantha. That when we hear sounds coming from underneath the hood, oftentimes our first impulse is to wish it goes away, hope it goes away, pray it away. We want to ignore it. We want to pretend it's not there. Maybe we turn up the radio so that we cannot hear that noise, that strange thumping or whirring or grinding or whatever the noise might be. We turn up the radio, we sing a little bit louder as we drive down the highway. We just pretend it's not there, hope that it will just go away on its own. And I think that so oftentimes when we have challenges in our lives, it's the same way, where we pretend it's not there, we ignore it, we think maybe if I just don't acknowledge it, it will go away. Maybe it's really not a problem. Maybe it will just go away on its own. Yeah, maybe. And just like with the noise in your car, chances are that if you let it go, it's only going to get louder. It's only going to get worse. And so while it is so very scary to pop the hood to take a look and see what might be the problem with our car, it's going to be important for us to do this in our own lives. This is not easy. It is scary to pop the hood. I don't know about you, Samantha, if you have a car and what your experience might be like with your car, but I know with my car, when I hear noises, and it makes a lot of noises, when I hear noises with my car, I get nervous. I don't want to pop that hood, don't want to see what the problem is. Because if there's a problem, I'm gonna have to do something about it. And it's so much easier to just hope, pray, cross my fingers that the problem just goes away. I'm afraid to pop the hood, to have to confront the problem in the engine. I'm afraid with the fixing that might need to happen. And so I think it is the same exact way with our own lives. We are afraid to dig deeper. We are afraid to pop the hood because we are afraid to find that something needs fixing. And Samantha, for your life, for a long time, you were not popping the hood. Maybe you were hearing sounds, but maybe you were ignoring them. So for instance, you mentioned that your reaction to this situation with your boyfriend wanting to go away, that your reaction scared you, and that this is something that really made you realize that something was going on. But I'm wondering, Samantha, if you sit down and reflect on your experiences, that maybe before this experience, there might have been some other noises under the hood, some other noises in the engine that you just kind of ignored, hoped would go away, pushed under the carpet, to use another metaphor, but that you really just kept driving. So I am not saying this definitively because, Samantha, it's your life and not mine, but I would not be surprised if maybe there were some other instances in your experience where there was a kind of a surprising reaction that you had that maybe you didn't fully recognize, and maybe just kind of kept driving and didn't want to pop the hood. But Samantha, this was the experience, this was the big noise that has made you say, I need to pop the hood. I need to check the engine. I cannot ignore this. And so I want to say to you, Samantha, well done. Well done for popping the hood. Well done for looking at the engine. Because you very easily could have just kept driving. You very easily could have just said, oh, I don't know, boyfriend. I don't know. I'm just upset by this. And why don't you just stay home? Or I don't like your friends. Or, you know, whatever other reason you may have given, whatever other rationale you may have given, it would have been easy for you to do that, Samantha. The harder thing instead was to pop the hood and say to yourself, whoa, could this be because of my childhood trauma? And whoa, by the way, I've got some real healing to do over my childhood trauma that I have been pushing away. So you have done the hard thing, Samantha. You have popped the hood. So often, we just ignore that sound and we keep driving. And you have made the choice, Samantha, to pull over, to open the hood, to look inside, and to find, indeed, something needs fixing. There's a problem with this engine. Samantha, that is an important, major, huge step on the healing journey. A major, huge, important step of the healing process. And so I want to pause and recognize that and congratulate you for that and applaud you for that, because that's major. That is huge, Samantha. So you already are indeed on your way just by recognizing that there is healing to be done. You know, the healing truly is a process, and it truly is a journey. And that process, that journey starts for us in ways that we don't even recognize at first. And what I mean by that, Samantha, and everyone, is that healing starts on really a subconscious, unconscious level. And so once we get to the point of saying, pull the car over, something is wrong, we need to look at the engine. By the time you get to that point, there have been subtle indications to you. Maybe your intuition, maybe you've been receiving messages. Maybe you've been having dreams. Maybe you've been having feelings and thoughts underneath the surface that you haven't fully recognized in your consciousness or haven't fully wanted to. So like Samantha with this idea of pushing away the trauma from your childhood, that's part of the healing process too. Because it was working its way through your experience on a deeper level, maybe a subconscious, unconscious level. And so even before we realize that we've got to pull the car over or it is going to crash, we've been having questions, feelings, thoughts, and inclinations that maybe there's something wrong. Maybe I should look at this. No. It's okay. Just keep driving. It'll go away. Turn up the radio. Sing louder. It'll go away. So by the time we're at that point of recognizing we need to pop the hood and maybe there is all kinds of smoke coming out from under that hood, by the time we get to that place, oftentimes we have been getting indications on a much deeper level that aren't completely registering. It's almost like whispers and then murmurs and then a little bit louder words and finally shouting at us. All of that is part of the healing process. And so Samantha, if you are saying to yourself, ugh, I've been pushing this away for my whole life, bad me, I want to encourage you to be gentle with yourself in that. I want to encourage you to be compassionate with yourself in that, because Samantha, the pushing away and the denying, when you keep driving, turn up the radio and sing louder, that's part of the process. That's part of the healing process. And so know that that pushing away has served its purpose. That pushing away has been part of the trauma working itself out. And I know that might seem crazy. Christian, I've been pushing it away. How has that been bringing it forward? It's kind of like this. I'm going to use another metaphor here, Samantha, so hang with me. Before a star explodes into a supernova, it expands and contracts, expands and contracts, back and forth, back and forth. And then it explodes. The star cannot explode into a supernova without that back and forth expansion and contraction. And so, Samantha, in our healing journey, we oftentimes cannot get to a point of explosion without the contraction, without the pushing away. I want to encourage you to honor your own healing journey, to honor that process that you have gone through to get you to this point. Because that pushing away, that continuing to drive the car, that turning up the sound and singing louder is part of the healing process. Taking one step forward and 2 steps back is part of the healing process. And so I want to encourage you to honor and acknowledge that and to be gentle with yourself for that process. And please, please, Samantha, do not beat yourself up for the path that you have taken in getting to this point. You know, you may very well be saying, I should have dealt with this sooner. My whole life I've been pushing this away, and now it's come to this point. Yes, it's come to this point, and it could not have come to this point in any other way. So please, I encourage you to release judgment of yourself, Samantha, for the pushing away. I encourage you to release judgment of yourself for not looking under the hood. And I encourage all of us to please be gentle with ourselves in our own healing process. It serves its purpose, and it happens as it needs to in its own time. Now, of course, I always encourage popping the hood and looking under the hood when we hear noise, to be proactive in checking the engine. But to also know that not checking the engine is part of having a car. It's part of owning a car. Part of being human is pushing it away and hoping it will go away and not wanting to address it. That's part of our human journey. So please forgive yourself for not, quote, dealing with this trauma sooner. And know that you have always been on the healing journey because that pushing away has been part of the healing journey. And now you are at the point, the big, major step where you are saying, yes, now I am ready to move forward with the knowledge, the intention of healing. You know, I'm going to use another metaphor here, Samantha. I guess I'm full of metaphors today. It's like if we cut ourselves. If I cut myself and I do nothing, my hand is going to eventually heal. Now, it may get infected. It may heal just fine with no intervention. It may continue to get re-injured, so maybe it'll start to scab over and then oops, something will happen and peel away that scab, and here I have a fresh wound again. But eventually my hand is going to heal in whatever way, shape, or form it does. But my hand is going to heal faster if I set the intention of its healing with a Band-Aid. If I recognize that I've been cut, if I wash the cut, if I dry it, I don't know, put whatever you might put on a cut, and then put a Band-Aid, a bandage, a plaster on it. That is setting the intention for healing, and the chances are that it is going to heal faster and in a better way than if left to its own healing devices. So you cut your hand, eventually, yeah, it's going to heal. And we can take action and take steps to help the healing process. And so now, Samantha, when you recognize that you have healing to do, when you recognize that you have a cut, you can set the intention to heal and to help the healing process. So, wonderful, Samantha. I am so happy for you. I am so overjoyed for you, Samantha, because I know that this point has not been easy for you to get to. And it is not an easy place to be. But now you have the healing intention, the intention of healing. And you can approach your healing with awareness and purpose. This is wonderful, Samantha. Thank you for sharing this with me, because I am so honored to be here with you as part of your healing process. Thank you, Samantha. So, Samantha, now that you know that you have this wound, what do? How do you set about the intention? I have some recommendations for you, some encouragement. As with all of my encouragements, Samantha, you can take them or you can leave them. It's completely up to you. Your healing journey is your own. And by the way, everyone, sometimes we have to hear things multiple times until we take action on them. And that's okay. That's part of being human too. So what that means is that, Samantha, I might make a recommendation for you. I might encourage you to consider something as part of your healing process, and you might think, oh, okay, yeah, that doesn't sound so bad, and you might forget all about it. And then maybe a few months later, you might hear that message, maybe from me again in some other way, shape, or form, or from someone else or somewhere else, and you might say, oh, that's not a bad idea. Maybe I should try that. Of course, not remembering that, oh, you've heard this before. Or maybe you even do remember and say, oh, I think I heard that before. Why haven't I done that yet? Shouldn't I do that? So know that that's all part of the process too. And that sometimes, even when things really are the right thing for us, it can take some coaxing. It can take some time. It can take multiple messages, impressions, for that message to sink in and for us to say yes to it and take action on it. So if I say something, Samantha, and you think, maybe I should do that, and then you don't, that's okay. That's part of the process too. And as with all of my encouragements and recommendations, I always encourage you to use what works for you and leave what doesn't. And who knows, the things that you don't leave, that don't resonate now, maybe they will at some point. And maybe the things that resonate now won't at some point. That is all okay. And that is all part of your journey. So honor that and recognize that, Samantha. My feelings are never hurt if you don't take any of my recommendations. So please know that as well. Okay. So what I first want to encourage for you, Samantha, is that I have so many thoughts and so many things that I am called to encourage you to consider. But this one really is coming out loud and clear, and it is a ritual. I am a big proponent of ritual. As a matter of fact, I truly believe in the power of ritual to help us create change, to help us mark changes and transitions in our lives, and to do so with awareness and intention. I feel for you, Samantha, that this would be one of those great times in your life for a ritual. This is also so important that it is one of the paths, one of the steps on my 7-way path. Now, if you've read my Life Change Encouragement Kit book, Standing Like the Stones, I mention the 7-way path in that book. And the 7-way path is a 7-step process that I have created and developed for managing our life changes and transitions. And the 7-way path is, even though it is set, it's not yet an offering, but it will be in 2022. So be on the lookout for that. But anyway, ritual is so important that it is one of the steps on my 7-way path. And I am strongly going to encourage for you, Samantha, a ritual at this time. Ritual is most powerful when we create the ritual for ourselves. So rather than me saying to you, you should do this for a ritual, I encourage you to consider your own ritual, creating your own ritual, and setting the intention behind that. Now, what I might recommend is setting the intention for your healing journey. So setting the intention to recognize and mark that you are committed to healing from your childhood trauma, and to recognize that new phase that you are moving into in your life, because truly it is a new phase, a phase of no longer turning up the volume on the radio, a phase of popping that hood, examining the engine, and getting it running. So I do recommend a ritual. Now, of course, I offer a ritual in the distant Reiki healing ceremony. And this ritual I have used to help others shift in their experiences. So, for instance, after a breakup, signaling the end of a breakup and being ready to move on, or signaling a readiness for starting a business, signaling readiness to bring abundance into your life. Those are all rituals, reasons why I've conducted the ritual of the distant Reiki healing ceremony for clients. And so that is a ceremony that you may want to consider. If it doesn't resonate with you, Samantha, that's okay. But that is something to consider, that as you think about a ritual, it just so happens, I do conduct a ritual specifically for marking transitions with the distant Reiki healing ceremony. So that may be something you want to participate in for your own one-on-one session. Now, of course, I do offer those sessions live for free on around the new and full moons, so you can participate in one of those. I will also say that I know just from client experiences that they are more powerful one-on-one. But the choice is, of course, yours, Samantha, but I offer that if you are so interested. So first and foremost, I'm going to encourage you to conduct some kind of ritual. I am also going to encourage you to bring gratitude to your healing journey. And, speaking of the 7-way path, gratitude is number 1 on the path. I am a major proponent of the power of gratitude. I truly believe that gratitude has the ability to transform our lives. And so I want to encourage you to bring gratitude into this experience, into your healing journey. Now, of course, I cannot tell you what to be grateful for. Only you know what you are grateful for. Some things, though, you may want to consider being grateful for is just the fact that you are here, just the fact that you have gotten to this point. That, I believe, Samantha, is really something to be grateful for, because you have taken a major step along your healing journey. And I know I'm excited for you. I think it's important to just recognize that and say thank you for that. So gratitude, bring in the gratitude in whatever way, shape, or form that looks to you. I strongly encourage gratitude. And gratitude as a habit, gratitude as a practice, gratitude that you come back to again and again and again in each moment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Samantha, I'm also going to encourage you to be gentle with yourself during this process and to recognize that it is a process and that, like I mentioned earlier, it can be 1 step forward and 2 steps back. And so know that, and as you go through this healing journey, to honor that, recognize that, and to continue to be gentle with yourself and not beat yourself up. If you have not gotten it already, the Life Change Encouragement Kit with the Standing Like the Stones ebook and audiobook may very well be helpful for you, in that it really does encourage gentleness with yourself during your journey. So if for no other reason, you may want to read that book just for the encouragement, just for the reminder that, hey, it's okay as you feel all of these feelings and emotions. This is part of the process. This is normal, and it is okay. So Samantha, recognize that you're going to be feeling a range of emotions and feelings. That is part of the healing journey. So know that going into this, and that is okay. I also do want to encourage you, you may want to consider seeking licensed professional mental health counseling. The trauma that you endured is real trauma. Your childhood abuse and neglect, the pain that you endured, that is something that has far-reaching ramifications in our lives. That is something that is the kind of trauma that can touch parts of our lives that we don't even recognize. Just like, Samantha, with you yelling at your boyfriend and then saying, oh my gosh, does this have to do with that? And don't be surprised if there are other things that come up that you say, oh my gosh, I can't believe my reaction. Does this have to do with that too? It very well could. And a licensed mental health counselor will be able to help you explore all of that trauma and to really unpack it and process it. So it can be very helpful to have someone holding our hand as we move through some of those very challenging, very difficult experiences. So I do encourage that. And I also want to encourage that I am a proponent of mental health counseling with a licensed professional. I am a proponent of that. And it is not the only way that you can get support. So in addition to that, of course, there are all other kinds of things. Just, list all of the modalities, havening and acupuncture and Reiki, and on and on and on the list goes. So know that there is lots and lots of support. And if you try one thing or multiple things and they just don't resonate with you, that's okay. There are plenty of other things that probably will. So what I'm saying is don't give up. And also, by the way, everyone, if you go to a licensed mental health counselor and it's just not resonating with you, that person's not doing it for you, it doesn't feel like it's really it for you, it's okay to find another counselor. I can tell you from experience in having met with counselors and knowing counselors and therapists professionally and personally, all are not created equal. And so there are some really not so good therapists out there. I'm just gonna say it. So if you end up getting a not so good one, or even maybe one that doesn't resonate with you, because maybe that therapist might really resonate, their methods, their process, their personality might really resonate with someone else. That's okay. If it doesn't resonate with you, you don't have to stay. You can find another counselor. There are thousands and thousands of them out there, and surely there's at least a couple who would resonate with you and who you would feel comfortable in working with. So what I'm saying is I encourage you not to write off counseling just because of an interaction with one counselor. Same thing with any modality. Reiki, for instance, there are thousands and thousands of Reiki practitioners. And some have methods that resonate with some people and don't resonate with others. The way that I practice Reiki may not resonate with others, with everyone. And that's okay. Someone might attend a distant Reiki healing ceremony and say, this did nothing for me. And that's okay. Whereas someone else might attend and say, oh my gosh, this was incredible. That's okay too. So what I'm saying is, just like if you get a Reiki practitioner that doesn't resonate with you, it may very well not be the Reiki that doesn't resonate with you. It just may very well be the way that that practitioner practices. No judgment on the way that practitioner does it. It just may not be the way that resonates with you. And so you may find resonance with the way that another Reiki practitioner practices. So it's the same way with any kind of modality that maybe just the practitioner doesn't resonate with you, but maybe the modality might really be helpful for you. So this is a journey, Samantha, and I encourage you to see what works, what fits, what resonates with you along the journey. And if there are certain healing modalities that do resonate with you, wonderful, go with it. And if there are ones that don't, it's okay. Find another practitioner and or try another modality. Whatever feels right to you. And also recognize that it is a journey and that what resonates with you now might not resonate with you in the future, and vice versa. And that is all okay. So Samantha, I'm going to send you Reiki, and I'm going to send you Reiki for your healing journey. And everyone, I am going to send Reiki to all of us for our healing journeys, because truly they are a journey. You know, I firmly believe that healing is a journey, and it is not ever completely done. And what I mean by that is that as we travel our journey, it is very much an unfolding, a multi-layered unfolding. And that as we heal, we find that there are deeper and deeper layers that need to be healed, things that we didn't even realize needed to be healed. And that even if we heal completely in one area of our experience, we are human beings that have lots of experiences. And the chances are that there is some other experience that healing is needed for. And that's all okay. So we all, what I'm saying, Samantha, you are not alone. We all have healing to do. So you recognize you have a lot of healing to do? Yes, we all do, whether we recognize it or not. And so I'm going to send Reiki to our healing journeys, all of us. And I'm going to send Reiki, Samantha, to your healing journey. So I invite and welcome you to please take 3 deep cleansing breaths with me to clear away what came before and to set sacred space. Now, of course, for those listening, as always, if you don't want the Reiki to go to you, don't worry, it will not. Reiki only goes where it is welcome. And it goes where it needs to go for the highest good. So we can set an intention, and Reiki is going to do its thing, whatever we intend it to. So thank you, Reiki. Wonderful. Thank you, Samantha. Samantha, immediately as I started to send Reiki, I saw a rainbow. A rainbow. There is hope here, Samantha. There is hope. Absolutely. And so I want to encourage you to have hope. The message here is absolutely one of hope for your healing. I also saw the image of a ladder. And along with that, you know, just the acknowledgement and encouragement to recognize that, yes, this is like climbing a ladder, one rung at a time. You know what's really interesting? Actually, I'm just having this intuitive thought, so thank you, angels, for this. When we climb a ladder, we can only go one step at a time, right? We cannot take 2 steps on a ladder at a time. It is only 1 step at a time. And so honor that process. You know what I also got coming through with the ladder, thank you, angels, is that we cannot climb a ladder with 1 foot. How can you climb a ladder with 1 foot? And so what this means is that it takes our full commitment. It takes all of us, our whole body, to climb the ladder. And so moving higher up on that ladder, Samantha, is going to require some effort. It's going to require both feet. And your arms too. Got to put those hands on the rungs too. So know that and honor that process. I'm going to pull some cards for you. let's see what we have in store. I've got the Celtic Dragon Tarot here, so let's see what Celtic Dragon Tarot card may pop out for you, Samantha, on your journey. Oh, by the way, I also saw a kangaroo. I don't know what the kangaroo was all about, but there it was. Interestingly enough, we have, that has just popped out very clearly, the Knight of Cups. Also very interestingly, the Knight of Cups was very prominently featured in one of the December Choose One of Three readings this month. Very interesting. Anyway, oh, by the way, if you have not gotten your December messages, get them in the December Choose One of Three card reading video. Choose number 1, 2, or 3 for your December 2021 messages. So Samantha, you have the Knight of Cups. Now, what I'm really getting from the Knight of Cups is just very much a visioning, a focusing on the future, a looking forward, a future-focused kind of focus right now. So just trusting and having faith in the future and moving forward into that future, riding into that future. And what I'm also getting right now for you, Samantha, is doing so with trust, doing so with belief and faith. And so putting belief and faith and trust into that forward motion into the future. So have faith in the future, Samantha. Trust in the future. And move forward into your future. I'm going to pull one more card for you. I'm going to pull a Breathe Easy card for you, Samantha. And let's see maybe what kind of mantra there might be for you as you walk your healing journey path. Thank you again, Samantha, for this question. This is so very important, and so very much, I'm sure, a help for others. So thank you, Samantha, for your bravery and submitting your question. Now, very clearly has jumped out, like flown out. Oh my God, angels, I love it. Is journey. I am on a journey. Every step of life's journey is an important adventure. I breathe in the pleasure and increased awareness that accompanies my travels. I am filled with infinite energy that animates my life and everything around me. I breathe out fear of newness. Yes, thank you so much, angels. You know, Samantha, as you move into this next phase of your healing journey, it is newness. And so know that anytime we have newness, there's fear. And that is normal. That is just a part of moving into newness. And so as you move into this newness on your journey of recognizing your need for healing and setting that healing intention, just know that there's going to be some fear along with that. That can be a scary thing, and that is part of the process, but support is indeed all around you. So remember, I am on a journey, and maybe just keep repeating that to yourself, including when you find that you are having challenges along the healing journey. Just remember, I am on a journey. Breathe. It is part of the journey. It is part of the healing journey, part of the healing process. So thank you so much, Samantha. I send blessings and best wishes to all of us for our healing journey, for our healing process. And if you weren't aware, I am so very passionate about transitions and changes. And we are all about to undergo a transition together from one year into the next. I always am so excited by this time of year. And I am so excited to welcome you to join me in this transition from 2021 to 2022 with my Back to Center program. This is a free program that I am going to be offering to help you reflect on 2021 and to prepare for 2022 and making it your best year yet. At the end of every year, I do reflection and visioning, and I thought, you know what? Why not invite everyone else to join me in that process? And you are welcome to join and participate as much or as little as you want, but that will be offered to everyone on my mailing list. So in order to get in on that Back to Center program, all you've got to do is join my mailing list, join the Standing Stones Healing Company community. And by the way, when you do, you get a copy of my Life Change Encouragement Kit. That reminds me, thank you. Angels, that is one thing that I also wanted to recommend to you, Samantha. I do have a life change meditation as part of the Life Change Encouragement Kit. And this meditation is created specifically to help you cut away what no longer serves you. And that may be a really helpful meditation for you at this time as you set sail for new seas on your healing journey. So you may very well want to check that out. It's part of the free Life Change Encouragement process. Life Change Encouragement Kit to encourage you during your life changes. The process of it. Yes, it's all a process. So thank you all so very much for joining me. I send you blessings and best wishes for your journey. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ask the Stones. If you have a question for Ask the Stones, please send me an email at christian@standingstoneshealing.com or connect with me on Facebook at Standing Stones Healing. Thank you, and best wishes for your journey.